I logged on and all I really did was stand in front of the house and just stand. And that's like 90% of the player, dude.
I will no longer be making primarily Final Fantasy XIV videos. I am burned out. Not completely, but heavily.
As a streamer, YouTuber, I need to feel my content. And I don't think I can just RP and type and smash my PP.
I do have my gripes about 14, and today I'm gonna list a few of them. I love this game, but you know, just like a good hentai, it must be consumed and you gotta move on eventually. Wait, I said anime, didn't I?
Welcome to another video. There had been a couple of recessive acts in the Final Fantasy XIV space recently that led to many content creators dropping out, a massive decline of content seen on YouTube, and of course, Dragonflight, the new WoW expansion on the horizon. And while that is nothing special besides the fact that Endwalker is perceived as the final chapter of Final Fantasy XIV by many players, even when this derives more from the story arc side of things, it is affecting the sense of how the game feels at the moment. A subliminal sentience of endings and continuations, where nearly each expansion before lights were set to continuation constantly. However, the natural drought of content feels more impactful this time around, at least according to many other creators or the feedback I received in the last couple of months. Especially due to many players not being happy with the possible homogenization of jobs, the expectation of a relic questline that might turn out to be a letdown compared to the previous two expansions, and not yet a clear path for the expansion that lies ahead. But could this indulging mood have been avoided? And how did Square Enix and Team Yoshida try to achieve this? Their first attempt was the reimagination of the PvP battle system featuring the crystalline conflict. And still to this day, I am leading the idea that PvP is the ingredient for a game's longevity, especially for an MMO that follows in the footsteps of the traditional formula. Unfortunately though, while they care for this PvP system, especially when it comes to balancing, there needs to be more than that, especially for making the content attractive for players to participate. It is always depending on the feeling of doing something relevant. Hey, I know that I like to play that game, but I can play it whenever I want. But right now, there's no need to. This is a double-edged sword, and I do enjoy the freedom of choosing content in Final Fantasy XIV according to the mood I'm in. But the problem gets vast when competition becomes stronger again. Do you think Dragonflight is going to return WoW to the former glory? I highly doubt that, but it attaches the urgency to play the launch when it's up. Otherwise you miss out on all the time-gated content that relies on weekly clears, your friends playing actively in the first 2 months, or even the game being dead in a short period. And even the MMO newcomers know that a game is enjoyed best whenever the content is brand new. So while 14 is offering a near perfect freedom when and what to do inside of their game, it never feels like you have to play now. Don't get me wrong on this one, I like it that way. That is the main reason why I haven't even bought Dragonflight yet. But I honestly believe that the perfect balance lies somewhere in between these two poles of an extreme. But now to the core of it. How can you possibly achieve a player's interest over a long time? Yes, by giving them rewards for playing. It sounds too simple to be a problem, right? Wrong. I mean, this game has so many things that you could give a player. They even know this idea to be a thing when looking at these Moogle tombstones. But the goal should not be to have events like that to bring back players, but transferring that idea into the usual content as well. Doing your 5 weekly dungeon runs? Cool, here's a free step for your relic weapon progress, that you can freely choose from. Wanna do some PvP? Do it and you will get one of these 10 mounts that you could have farmed in X Trials in Stormblood, but you might not have been present at that time. So they don't even need to provide new rewards to begin with, but this leads us to the biggest issue in Square Enix's mindset. I love that you can do nearly all forms of past content in the way it could have been done back in the days. But why not offering a second solution, at least after a time? Yes, Eureka can be fun when some people join you and do stuff together, but when nobody participates, why not offering a second way of getting progress in there? There's so much content you can do here that nobody takes part in right now. Heck, even the Criterion dungeon that had been released 5 weeks ago is not playable right now, because you're sitting in the queue for more than 30 minutes on certain times of the day. Not mentioning that Criterion and the more difficult versions of it are a whole disaster on exactly those aspects I just mentioned. Playing things for their own sake is good, but how long is someone supposed to do that? Yeah, Mario Kart is an amazing game, and I love to play that with my friends, and it is the freaking same game since 20 years from its base foundation. But guess what? I'm not playing this solo because I have no progression in anything above my own playing skill. Square needs to understand that an MMO is no Mario Kart. People want to do something that takes them further in at least one aspect. May just be a dope weapon glam they always wanted, but when the content had been out, they haven't even played the game. Or a mount that you could receive 2 or 3 expansions ago, but nobody wants to form a party to do it. My 11 mounts you can farm solo videos or the like are very popular on my channel, so I guess interest for these topics is definitely present. I mean, on my data center there's a heavily populated A rank train going on every Tuesday and even more days in the week just for some clusters, the weekly tombstone cap and whatever else you might buy from Sack of Nuts, Poetics or Astronomy tombstones. Just transfer these rewards to Criterion in a fitting effort and time relation and this content is revived again. Raid tokens or even reskinned or dyeable versions of the tombstone gear could solve the energetic state of Criterion. And while I thought, hey, maybe this is a test run and they will provide further development later, it doesn't seem so, because they haven't changed anything even though the player feedback was very one-sided on this aspect. I still hope for the future that they introduce this content with fitting rewards, but for now it seems plain dead to me, and I don't even have any motivation to test it out when I still got my savage raids or even relic weapons to farm, because that even seems to be a much more reasonable time investment. Square, please reconsider your point of view when it comes to rewards for brand new content and maybe let the ideas of your Moogle tombstone system flow into that thought process. The will and foundation seems to be there. But why you're hesitating to give us more Moogle tombstone-like rewards persistently is beyond my understanding, as I don't think that it's just a small fraction of the player base that feels neglected on that department. The game still has all the potential to be the #1 MMO, but whatever business you're dealing with or plans you guys at SE headquarters are scheming, your community is waiting for your radiant return, and you should not let us wait for too long, as the MMO market isn't sleeping. It might even be dragon flying away from you, and not everyone will come back when there's no reason to do so. Please keep listening to player feedback in the way you always did, and spend some effort on the longevity problems this game is facing. And don't try to solve them with compulsory housing liabilities to keep the players playing. Stay true to job uniqueness and deliver the idea of Moogle tombstones into all sorts of content where this game lacks any form of rewards, and the player base will be more than happy for the foreseeable future. I will try to do my part and provide you with content for this game until its last spark has been expired. So stick around for my brand new 5-minute job guide series starting on Friday, as well as the last jobs for the 10 most epic weapons. Stay strong, hope for Square to deliver, and for now and hopefully forever, keep loving Final Fantasy.
And then whenever I bring that up, they're like, oh, Yoshi P doesn't want you to play this game forever, so go play different games and come back later. But I don't want to come back later. I want to keep playing and do fun stuff there.